If you're over 60 and your vision isn't what it used to be, this is not random. It's not just aging, it's biology. Your eyes are among the most active tissues in your body. They require constant oxygen, blood flow, and antioxidant protection. After 60, circulation slows and oxidative stress increases, making the retina more vulnerable. You may notice more glare at night, difficulty reading small print, or slower adjustment to light. These aren't just inconveniences, they are early signals. If you value research-based health guidance designed specifically for adults over 60, please take a moment to subscribe. I'm here to help you act early instead of reacting later. The first foundational nutrient is vitamin A. It's required to form rhodopsin, which helps specialized cells called rods detect light in low light conditions. When levels are low, night vision suffers. You might notice difficulty driving at night or a longer adjustment when entering dark rooms. Vitamin A is fat-soluble and found in sources like egg yolks, liver, dairy, and orange vegetables like carrots and sweet potatoes. Proper absorption requires dietary fat. But we're just getting started. Vitamin A is only one piece of the puzzle. Stay with me as we build the complete system for protecting your vision. Thank you for watching. Now let's talk about the part of your eye that determines how clearly you see faces, read books, and recognize fine detail: the macula. The macula is a small but critical area in the center of the retina. It's responsible for sharp central vision. And after 60, this is the area that becomes most vulnerable. Why? Because it is constantly exposed to light and oxidative stress. Light exposure creates free radicals. Free radicals damage retinal cells, and over time, that damage accumulates. This is where the next two nutrients become absolutely essential: lutein and zeaxanthin. These are not ordinary vitamins. They are carotenoids, natural pigments found in certain plants. But here's what makes them unique. They accumulate directly in the macula. In fact, they form something called the macular pigment. Think of this pigment as natural internal sunglasses. It filters harmful blue light, it reduces oxidative damage, it protects delicate retinal cells. After 60, macular pigment density often declines, and lower macular pigment density has been associated with reduced visual sharpness, increased glare sensitivity, greater risk of macular degeneration. Now here's something powerful. Unlike many nutrients, lutein and zeaxanthin physically concentrate in the eye. They are selectively transported there. Your body prioritizes them for retinal protection. Sources include spinach, kale, collard greens, egg yolks, corn. But there's an important detail most people miss. Lutein and zeaxanthin are fat-soluble. Without healthy dietary fat, absorption decreases. So eating spinach with olive oil is far more effective than eating plain spinach alone. Now let's address something important. These nutrients do not improve vision overnight. They work gradually. They protect, they maintain, they reduce cumulative damage. Vision loss after 60 is usually not sudden. It is slow, progressive, and protective nutrients are about slowing progression, not creating miracles. Now here's something even more interesting. Studies have shown that people with higher intake of lutein and zeaxanthin tend to have better contrast sensitivity and visual processing speed. That means sharper edges, better detail recognition, less strain. Protect your central vision through consistent nutrition. Circulation is something most people never connect to vision. Your retina is one of the most oxygen-demanding tissues in your entire body. It requires a constant, rich blood supply. If circulation weakens, if blood vessels stiffen, if oxidative stress damages vascular walls, retinal cells suffer. And this is where the next critical nutrient comes in: vitamin C. Most people think of vitamin C for immunity, but for the eyes, vitamin C plays a very different and powerful role. First, vitamin C is a potent antioxidant. The eye is constantly exposed to light. Light generates free radicals. Free radicals damage proteins and lipids inside the lens and retina. Vitamin C helps neutralize those free radicals. Second, and this is especially important after 60, vitamin C supports blood vessel integrity. It strengthens capillary walls. The retina contains tiny, delicate capillaries. If those vessels become fragile or damaged, nutrient delivery suffers. Vitamin C helps maintain the structural integrity of those vessels. Now here's something many people don't know. The concentration of vitamin C inside the eye is significantly higher than in the bloodstream. That tells you something. The eye prioritizes vitamin C. It uses it actively for protection. Sources of vitamin C include oranges, strawberries, kiwi, bell peppers, and broccoli. But here's the key detail. Vitamin C is water-soluble. It is not stored in large amounts. That means consistent intake matters. Small daily intake is more protective than occasional high doses. Now let's talk about another important benefit. Vitamin C has been associated with reduced risk of cataract progression. Cataracts develop when proteins in the lens become damaged and clump together. Oxidative stress accelerates this process. Antioxidant protection slows it. Now let's be clear. Vitamin C does not reverse cataracts, but it may slow progression. And slowing progression matters because preservation is powerful. Now let's move deeper into retinal protection. We've discussed water-soluble antioxidants like vitamin C, but the retina is also rich in fat. In fact, retinal cell membranes are made largely of polyunsaturated fatty acids. This is where vitamin E comes in. Retinal cell membranes are made largely of polyunsaturated fatty acids, which are highly vulnerable to oxidative damage. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble shield for these cells. When free radicals attack the lipid layer of those cells, vitamin E helps neutralize the damage. After 60, oxidative stress increases naturally as energy centers become less efficient. Vitamin E helps protect against that quiet damage. Vitamin E does not work alone. It works in partnership with vitamin C. When vitamin E neutralizes a free radical, vitamin C helps regenerate it back to its active form. That's synergy. Balance matters more than megadoses. Adequate vitamin E may support macular health, reduce oxidative damage in retinal tissue, and slow certain age-related degenerative processes. It's a key layer of structural defense. Sources include almonds, sunflower seeds, and avocado. Because it's fat-soluble, vitamin E requires dietary fat for proper absorption and accumulation in retinal membranes. More is not always better. High-dose supplements are not automatically superior to food sources. Balanced intake through whole foods is often safer and more physiologically aligned. Focus on real ingredients. We are building a network: vitamin A for receptors, lutein for light filtering, and vitamin E for cell membranes. Each nutrient protects a different structural component of your eyes. Each layer adds critical support to your structural health. But we're not done. Stay with me as we complete the picture for your vision. Thank you for watching. Let's shift our focus from the retina itself to the wiring behind it. Because seeing clearly isn't just about light entering the eye. It's about signals traveling from the retina to the brain. That signal travels through the optic nerve. And nerves require something very specific to function properly. They require B vitamins, especially vitamin B12. After 60, vitamin B12 becomes increasingly important. Why? Because absorption declines with age. Stomach acid production decreases. Certain medications interfere with absorption. And even a normal diet may not provide adequate usable B12. Vitamin B12 supports nerve insulation, signal transmission, energy production in neural tissue. Without adequate B12, nerve conduction slows. And subtle visual disturbances can occur. Some people may experience blurred vision, difficulty focusing, light sensitivity, even optic nerve damage in severe deficiency. Now here's something critical. Vitamin B12 deficiency can be silent for years, and symptoms may be misattributed to normal aging. But the optic nerve is part of the central nervous system, and it depends heavily on B12. Sources of B12 include eggs, fish, meat, dairy. Vegetarians and vegans are at higher risk of deficiency. Now let's briefly mention two additional B vitamins that support vision indirectly: vitamin B6 and folate, B9. These help regulate homocysteine levels. Elevated homocysteine is associated with vascular damage, and as we've discussed earlier, the retina depends on delicate blood vessels. Higher homocysteine may increase risk of microvascular damage. Balanced B vitamin intake supports vascular and nerve integrity. Focus on supporting the whole system for long-term clarity. There is a nutrient that doesn't get as much attention, but plays a central role in visual chemistry. It's not a vitamin, it's a mineral: zinc. Zinc is critical for transporting vitamin A from the liver to the retina. Remember vitamin A from part 1. Without adequate zinc, vitamin A cannot function properly. Zinc helps convert vitamin A into its active retinal form, the form that participates directly in visual processing. If zinc levels are low, even adequate vitamin A intake may not fully support night vision. But that's not all. Zinc is also highly concentrated in the retina. It supports photoreceptor stability, immune regulation inside the eye, and cell repair processes. After 60, zinc absorption may decline. Certain medications can reduce zinc levels. Digestive efficiency decreases with age. Low zinc levels have been associated with reduced night vision, slower dark adaptation, and greater susceptibility to oxidative stress. Now here's something important. Zinc must be balanced. Too little impairs function. Too much can interfere with copper absorption. Moderation and balance matter. Food sources of zinc include oysters, beef, pumpkin seeds, lentils, and chickpeas. Plant-based zinc is less bioavailable than animal-based zinc. Plant-based zinc is less bioavailable than animal-based zinc, so vegetarians may need to be especially mindful. Now let's step back and understand something critical. Vision after 60 is influenced by oxidative stress, vascular health, nerve function, photoreceptor chemistry, light damage, and inflammation. Zinc touches multiple layers of that system. It connects vitamin A to retinal function. It supports immune balance. It contributes to antioxidant defense. Let's talk about something many adults over 60 complain about, but rarely connect to nutrition: dry eyes, burning, grittiness, or blurry vision that improves after blinking. Dry eye becomes more common with age because tear production changes. The oil layer of the tear film becomes thinner and inflammation increases. This is where omega-3 fatty acids become extremely important. They're essential fats critical for supporting oil-producing glands and retinal cell flexibility. The tear film has 3 layers: water, mucus, and oil. If the oil layer is weak, tears evaporate too quickly, leading to constant irritation. DHA is highly concentrated in the retina. Photoreceptors rely heavily on DHA to maintain their structural integrity and resilience against stress. Omega-3 fatty acids help improve the quality of the tear film, stabilizing the oil layer so tears don't evaporate too quickly. Chronic low-grade inflammation worsens dry eye symptoms. Omega-3s help shift your body toward a more anti-inflammatory state, supporting overall comfort. Food sources include fatty fish like salmon and sardines, as well as chia seeds and walnuts. Fatty fish are especially beneficial for DHA levels. We've built a complete framework, from vitamin A for receptors to omega-3s for tear stability. Each nutrient supports a different structural layer. Each nutrient is a piece of a coordinated system. By protecting these layers, you protect your vision for the long term. Thank you for following this series. Stay healthy. Now let's talk about a vitamin that behaves more like a hormone, a nutrient that influences inflammation, immune balance, calcium regulation, cell growth, and even gene expression. That vitamin is vitamin D. Most people think of vitamin D only for bones, but vitamin D receptors are found throughout the body, including in the retina. After 60, vitamin D deficiency becomes more common. Why? Reduced sun exposure, thinner skin, lower dietary intake, reduced kidney activation of vitamin D. And here's why it matters for your eyes. Vitamin D helps regulate immune function inside the eye. Inflammation is a major contributor to age-related visual decline. Chronic low-grade inflammation damages retinal tissue over time. Vitamin D helps modulate that inflammatory response. There is also growing research suggesting that adequate vitamin D levels may support macular health, reduced risk of certain retinal diseases, healthier tear production. People with low vitamin D levels often report more dry eye symptoms. The relationship isn't fully understood yet, but immune regulation likely plays a role. Vitamin D also supports vascular health. Food sources include fatty fish, egg yolks, fortified dairy. But for many, sunlight exposure is the major factor. The skin synthesizes vitamin D when exposed to sunlight. However, balance matters. Now here's something very important. Vitamin D works closely with magnesium. Without adequate magnesium, vitamin D activation is impaired. This is why nutrient synergy matters. No vitamin functions in isolation. Focus on the whole picture for your health. Now let's bring everything together in a clear, practical way, because information without application doesn't protect your vision. After 60, eye health depends on protecting 5 major systems: light processing, macular protection, blood circulation, nerve signaling, and inflammation control. And each nutrient we discussed plays a distinct role. Let's briefly connect the dots. Vitamin A supports night vision and photoreceptor chemistry. Lutein and zeaxanthin form protective pigment in the macula, filtering blue light and reducing oxidative stress. Vitamin C strengthens retinal capillaries and protects against free radical damage. Vitamin E shields retinal cell membranes from lipid oxidation. Vitamin B12 and other B vitamins protect optic nerve function and vascular balance. Zinc activates vitamin A and supports retinal immune stability. Omega-3 fatty acids support tear film integrity and retinal cell structure. Vitamin D regulates inflammation and immune response inside the eye. Now here's the most important message. You do not need 12 separate supplements. In many cases, a nutrient-rich diet covers most of this foundation. A simple weekly pattern might include fatty fish twice per week, leafy greens most days, colorful vegetables, eggs, nuts and seeds, and citrus fruits or berries. That covers a surprising amount of visual support. Supplements may be appropriate for some individuals, especially if blood levels are low, but testing and medical guidance are wise. Now here's something powerful to remember. Vision loss is usually slow. It's gradual. It's cumulative. That means protection must also be gradual and consistent. No single vitamin reverses aging, but steady nutrient support slows oxidative damage, and slowing damage preserves independence. Clear vision supports reading, driving safely, recognizing loved ones, and maintaining confidence. Your eyes are not passive windows. They are living tissue that responds to what you feed your body. And even after 60, protective nutrition makes a difference. If this video helped you understand how to support your vision intelligently, not emotionally, not through hype, consider subscribing for more practical, science-based health guidance focused on aging strong. Because protecting your eyesight is not about fear, it's about preparation. And preparation begins long before vision declines.